For sale is my 2009 Aprilia Manor 850. It's 839cc, fully automatic with a sport transmission. I've been using this as a commuter bike for more than a year, actually about a year and a half before I decided to actually upgrade to a new bike, and decided to let this one go. Now, I really enjoyed this bike, but it was a good kind of training bike for me. I hadn't been riding for very long, a couple of years, but decided to move on up to a manual transmission bike, and decided to let this one be sold. There's a little bit of damage where I stupidly dropped the bike in the garage. I'll show you that on the side quarter panel here. There is a little bit of a mark, and this quarter panel could be just replaced. There was no other damage I found on the bike other than on the steering, which I'll show you here. This is just an end knob here, which could easily be replaced. And the same with the brake lever as well. There's a little bit of scarring on the end of it, but there was no damage to the casing. I had the dealership recheck it, and they didn't find any problems at all. You know, of all places to drop it is in your garage while the bike's stationary, but again, been no other problems with the bike at all, but just wanted to cover that for disclosure. And the bike is cold. I'll show that. So I'm touching the exhaust here, it's totally cold. I'm going to start that up in a second. I don't know if that's relevant to show that when trying to sell your bike, but I'll start the bike up from cold. So I'm going to touch on the ignition. Pretty much always started right away, and still firing up on the display here. You can see the mileage is 11,091. Pretty much when you stop riding. So I switched over to a Buell Lightning. I really enjoy riding that bike, but I like this one too. There's multiple modes on this. This is currently in a touring mode, and if you use this gear mode here and switch to the display, you can shift to sport mode, rain mode, and if you hold the gear button in, it will shift over to sport gear. And if you switch to that, you can then utilise the plus minus. Minus is just on the opposite side here of the handle steering, and you can shift through the 7-speed transmission. Shift that down. There's the touring. Runs pretty quiet for a bike, so 840cc pretty much, and runs great. It's ideal for a relatively new rider to use this bike. And the other thing I've had to do is make adjustments, because I'm actually pretty short. I'm 5'4". The seat height on this was originally 31 inches roughly, and I actually had the seat cut and reupholstered to take out a little bit of a lower, it basically take about an inch off of it. And the second adjustment that was made was to the front forks here. You'll see there's this increase, and basically they can undo this and lift up the front forks. That was done both sides. Obviously this is a change that can easily be put back to its original position, but I have the seat height down to around 29 inches now, which I found manageable for me to ride the bike. Okay, well at that point I'll turn the engine off, just so you can hear me a little bit better. That's better. Okay, so yeah, I mean I had to make that adjustment because I'm not very tall and needed a good commuter bike. And this has been perfect. It's again, especially as I was relatively new to riding, this was a great first bike for me, and now I've upgraded to a Buell Lightning with manual transmission, and having a lot of fun with that too. But this is great if you don't want to deal with shifting, or if you have an inability to shift. You don't want to have to touch the manual gear shift, this is an ideal bike for that. Now the shifter on this, which is actually an electronic shifter, is normally fitted right here, and I've had that taken off, but I have that available to refit back on if you want to shift with the left foot as normal. But I just let the bike handle it all. That's exactly what it was engineered for. It's a pretty quick bike as well. I had no trouble in traffic holding its own, and I've been very, very happy with it. And hopefully it'll go to a new owner. So thanks and bye for now.